Alright, hello everybody and welcome back to another replay cast. This replay is from the trained tournament that is going on the bootcamp Discord that I'm also in, where trained means, only people with the trained role or trained tag are allowed to participate, and trained effectively means they kind of know what they're doing. They know how to utilize most units more or less roughly. So they're not really rookies, but they're certainly not the most experienced. Usually casual players, but casual players that play for quite a while. If that makes any sense. In any case, I got told that this is a very very good replay by a good friend of mine. So let's take a look. We have rookies are cookies or polo on blue against the orange guy on red, and rookies are cookies is playing Eurocore. Yep, Eurocore. Lots of AMX 10s, Leclerc, Crotal and Tiger, the only AA tank CV in the base. I love to see it. If you start with a Jeep CV in your base, you deserve to get punished. Although I do it myself from time to time. Same here, tank CV in the base. Very nice to see. This is Baltic Front, 2M1 Wilkes as opposed to a super heavy used by rookies. Some XAs with both air decoys as well as Sissy. This one has Sissy, and these two on veteran have air decoys. KTs with Panzer Yakari most likely, or could also be up with the Yakari, who knows. Spikes, Mi-17s also with the Polish fist squads, whatever they're called, they're shock, probably just to get relatively cheap Mi-17s. So-called probably to defend against a Tiger. Here we have mainly motorized only motorized infantry, some Commandos Para, Legion 90 and the ATGM squad, probably Milan 3 if I had to guess. Let's just go a bit faster during the deployment since this takes a while until they get to the front line. It's actually curious, do they need a whole minute to get to their second spawn? With the Helo-born CV, you still need basically a minute, and with a fast ground-based CV on the other side, you also need basically a minute. Alright, now okay, this is curious. Did Orange Guy already spot the Tiger? He did not. When does he spot the Tiger? Medium optics basically spot the Tiger as soon as it fires. If you have no medium optics, I would assume that you're not able to spot it. But this is where the medium optics are so helpful. Only got one missile off, and even then it didn't even hit. The Tiger gets the Mi-17 kill as well. The Hawk misses the first missile and can't finish the Tiger with the gun. Gun isn't particularly good, so you would need both missile hits. On the top, just one AMX-10, but don't be fooled, that is obviously an OP unit and can relatively easily deal with a KT in a defensive position. Here the AMX-10s also force these infantry squads to unload. Spike misses on the AMX-10 because it's panicked due to the transport dying right next to it. The Hawk was still in the air and is bombing the Crotal. Crotal misses one bomb. Oh no, it's bombing the infantry up there. It still gets killed by Crotal. And the last missile shooting the Mi-17, but the Crotal is now out of ammo. That's the big annoying thing with the Crotal is the ammo. It's very consistent, it has a lot of range, non-radar, it's amazing, but the obvious downside is only 4 missiles. So dealing with multiple AA units at the same time, not AA units, but aerial units at the same time can be tough. Meanwhile, the AMX-10 took this road and as a result got cooked by the KTs, and with the AMX-10, as long as it's alone at the very least, if it's your only defensive unit, keep it in defensive, and especially if you're playing against Baltic Front, where you have to deal with KTs, you want to try to keep the range and stay in a bush where you can abuse your stealth. So especially since he had only one, he shouldn't have been that aggressive and probably put it in there or near this ridge line. So that was not a very good thing, and the KTs, especially if he splits them, could do some damage, but there is still a Tiger alive, and while it still has some time to repair. Although, and this is actually very smart, KTs are, if they, I think standing here in the bushes would have been better, because that way the Tiger couldn't choose to engage him in the open at max range, so the KTs aren't a threat, because, two autocannons are actually some of the best anti-helo weapons in the game in some circumstances, and one of those circumstances is in these bushes where the Tiger or any helicopter can't really shoot at at them from the outside, so or let alone spot, right? So if the tiger flies over them, the KTs will probably just murder it. So I think, given that he's playing against tiger, I think having them right next to the road, stand here in the middle of the forest, probably would have been the best call. M1 will look very aggressive. Not sure if I liked it, since there's no supporting units around. He does more or less know that it's probably clear thanks to the KTs, but still it's very dangerous to push up there. The Leclerc is still uncontested, and the M1 Wilk here is just playing defensively, the other infantry as well. Up until now, when I was going on about the KT, this was basically empty, but neither player really abused it. The tiger, as expected, dealt with the KTs easily, sitting at effectively the edge of a forest and with the exceptional optics. Easy to spot. And going on about the flank, and KTs got also bought for the flank, I believe. Although it looks like these KTs want to take this road down here. So if you want to buy something for a flank, make sure that they take the road that you want them to take, because if you want them to fly around this area, then don't spawn them here, but rather like in this area. But given, actually no, it could definitely come back to haunt them. Then again, Orange Guy might also decide, you know, given that I lost everything, maybe I actually want them into Charlie as opposed to for sneaking around. But we will see. And KT here, Yakari pushing up with little support. The KT is very nice, very nice in fact. Doesn't have a lot of ammo, but the Yakari still are not getting supported. The KTs down here, however, easily melt those Legion 90. A Marder 2 is something that would be really helpful, because the KTs, while they have 4 AP, still, at least at max range, can't really do anything against the Marder 2 and get very quickly popped. The Tiger also dealt with the M1 Wilk, I assume. I actually missed that, but given that only one is left alive, I assume that's the one that was up here that got killed. Presumably, again, by the Tiger. Might have been even a side shot, given that the Tiger still has only 1 hot left. Used only 4 snaps, meaning that it probably used 2 hots for the 2 KTs, and thus killing a Wilk with only 1 hot would mean that it's a side shot. Very aggressive Super Puma here. Spotted by the Tiger, but I'm pretty sure, or I very much assume it got spotted by the Tiger. It did, but way too late. If he's aggressive, he can definitely get the air decoys, at least as long as they're out in the open. Tank 1 Igla missile and just get rid of the kilos while they're reloading for the second Igla missile. If they're in a forest, and the smartest thing would be to fire and immediately move back to break line of sight against the Tiger. It requires a bit of micro. Missile killed a Gazelle, a Puma here, Puma Cassiope. The air decoys. Another M1 Will coming in. There's the air decoys shooting at the Tiger. The very good optics obviously also very much help. Ooh, losing line of sight for a split second, but there we go. Tiger is dead. One of the best anti-Tiger units in the game for sure, if not the best, you know, in all-round circumstances. Has a very good stealth, so it doesn't get detected as early. Has the optics to spot the Tiger, and given that it's infantry with manpad, it means that it can be very, very close to the front line, or even behind the enemy front line, or to the sides. And on a lead 10 men, you know, very, very good to deal with Tigers. Mid is still not very much. I mean, it shouldn't actually be contested like this. Rookies are Cookies definitely has the forces to take control of this. There's just one M2 Wilk and a couple of KTs, which the Leclerc should easily be able to deal with. But of course, he doesn't really know what exactly is there, you know. For all he knows, there could also be 2 Panzer Yakari 90 squads in that forest, right? Which is why you want that infantry to help your Leclerc or your tank with pushing up. And of course, the Syria circling makes it also a dangerous endeavor to use the Leclerc offensively. KWS went for the Syria, doesn't manage to kill it, kills the Hawk though. Does not get punished. Not even hit by the E290. And the E290 probably will get killed by the VAB, maybe? Ooh, it could get spicy. M1 will obviously can deal with the VABs, however, there's the Commandos Para and the Legion 90 moving up that could both get a side shot here. And even if they don't get a side shot, the Commandos Para and Legion 90 together will easily be able to deal with the M1 Wilk, and the AMX-10 even was in range to get a hit on as well. Vab T20 definitely should have gotten a move, attack move to move up there, since he must have seen that an AA piece was shooting at a KWS, or with must have seen maybe an exaggeration, but definitely has the opportunity to notice that. But IDO90 for now, I mean, is able to get out, and it's looking, I would say, pretty good for Rookies Are Cookies. Of course, he doesn't really have full control over Charlie, but he does have more or less control over the reinforcement route to Charlie. So unless that KT gets some nasty damage done, which is unlikely, although I would personally definitely would have left the main gun turned on the Leopard. Not looking good for Orange Guy. And there's the Cassiope and the cannon sneaking around. The cannon definitely getting killed easily by the KT. Cassiope, he needs to get a bit lucky, I would say. And because that 3 AP definitely ramps up very quickly once you're at 400 meter range next to such a vehicle and 2 bursts, and instead the VAB T20 killed the MS-17 here. Again, autocannons at these ranges are probably your best AA unit in the game, and the Leclerc kills the... well, that must have been a side shot. Oh yeah, the easily side shot there, okay. And it leaves only these 3 KTs with little ammo and little HP left. Not like one armor means anything to the Leclerc, no matter how much AP you have. 2 more KTs with Panzerjäger, I assume. Not taking the highway here. Probably gonna assault from this angle here. Should be able to get in relatively easily. The carry together with the KT easily deal with those commandos, Para. Cassiope dealt with the KT that was down there. The Gazelle Cannon and the Cassiope both got wrecked by the KT here. None of these had to help. Interesting. Again, I would leave the main gun on, because with the lack of stealth you have, there's a good chance that you're gonna get spotted relatively easily anyway, and if that's the case, you might as well shoot back with your main gun. Especially against KTs that you pop with one shot anyway, but against Leopard 1 with only 3 side armor, if that gets close enough, it can easily kill the Leopard 1, so you definitely want to keep the main gun turned on. MG is a different scenario, because if you're sitting in a bush and then a helicopter without optics comes closer, and there are certainly situations where you would give your position away by shooting it with the MG, but main gun I would definitely keep turned on. At least as long as you have no base defense, and even then I would probably still have it turned on. Syria coming in, destroyed... no, not that. Destroyed something, I believe. Oh no, I think it evac'd manually. Probably went in for Leclerc, but again, Leclerc still not pushing up. Not making use of the Leclerc here at all. I understand that he's probably busy trying to get back into Charlie, but still he should try to make use of the Leclerc. Because as it stands, it's not really doing anything. Of course it is there, and you know, his opponent knows it's there, so it's kind of a threat, but at the same time it should be in a position where at the very least it makes reinforcing mid harder, but right now it doesn't. So he should really try to get some use out of it, and seems like he's doing that, repositioning it. I assume that he realizes his Legion 90 are spotted, so maybe he wants to move it in a way such that he can conquer the town, which would be very, very useful, but the KTs will easily murder those Legion 90. Well, most of them. Now they have no ammo left. And the more you carry in KTs coming in. Basic carry, interesting. I believe you do get more per card, but I would definitely still pay that 4 per card availability hit that you get to get the... how much is it? 3 extra AP and 10% extra accuracy on the launcher. Syria coming in. Got 1 missile off? Okay. There was 1 gap in the smoke that got filled, but yeah. Got 1 missile off and hit with it, but also got hit in return. Unfortunate, but the Leclerc is still alive at least. For Rookies Are Cookies it is. Unfortunately for Orange Guy, the smoke came in just at the right time to ensure the survivability of the Leclerc. Or the survival of the Leclerc, I should say. IDO90 is still very far behind, should probably get rerouted into this area, especially now that there is a mod here, so he wants to protect it against tigers and or peace rains. So suddenly now this is looking more even in mid, and TheOrangeGuy has definitely the better fire support for his K mod, not to speak of the Leclerc being on such low HP. Of course he doesn't know yet that there is a mod, and is also pushing up at the north. The KT is honestly way too far back. You should always have Recon in here if you have no position down there, because then you can oversee this whole open field and can spot if the enemy might be pushing over the open into your second spawn. The mod killing the Leclerc. That's why you have to be careful with the low HP Leclerc. Yes, the KTs and infantry at that range can't really do anything to you, but you have to still be careful that there might not suddenly pop out a tank that could kill you. Even an M1 Wilk at that range is quite dangerous. And you have only 21 armor on the Leclerc. Well, only is relative, but compared to something like a 205 with 22 or a Cherry 2 with even 23. Every bit of armor helps, especially should you have to deal with medium tanks at that range or, you know, other super heavies and you're on low HP. MX10 kills one of the KTs and the other one gets its weapons jammed and firing computer reset. Okay, that is really unlucky. That is incredibly unlucky. But it's just a thing with the autocannons, right? With so many hits coming in, there's obviously a higher chance of receiving a crit from it, especially since it's on elite. But Wargame, RNG giveth and RNG taketh away. Now suddenly tides have completely turned. Could have been a side shot here. But I think even if they had hit, I believe the mod did turn fast enough for it to matter. Spotted the P4 for just a second, but then reversed. Might have been scared by the KWS. I think there's a good chance that he has identified it. Oh yeah, he has noticed that there is a plane, but he can't identify it, right? He said, yeah, he's so far back that he has no great air detection here. I think it was a direct hit with the Häkkinen. In case you don't know, Mika Häkkinen, a former F1 world champion for McLaren Mercedes in I believe 98 and 99. I think he was twice, right? Well, Michael Schumacher had 2 before, and in 2001, 2, 3. Yeah, I think he was 98 and 99 world champion for McLaren. Anyway, I'm getting off track here. KT is coming down the road, and if rookies are cookies, is not paying attention, that KT can easily kill the Leopard because Leopard doesn't have its main gun turned on, and again, with the main gun, would easily one-shot the KT. And even if it's showing the front, if the KT gets close enough with 4 AP, he only needs to be at 700 meter closer range, so at 1050 meters downwards, it will be able to penetrate the Leopard even up to the front. The infantry here just gets completely cut up because there was no fire support with the mod or the BMP1s or the BMP1 KTs. By the way, finished BMP1s, of course, 10 points. Leopard did kill the KT. So, very nice. A very good attention here. Attention span from rookies are cookies. Immediately realizing that there is a KT and turning on the guns. I would still keep at least the main gun turned on, like I said, but he didn't get punished for it, so in theory, if you are good at paying attention, then you can of course do that. And so far it worked out. But it obviously alleviates some micro pressure from you. Still though, TheOrangeGuy has very little control on the top. The Erikois here are still living. And that could prove quite dangerous for rookies or cookies, or quite an opportunity for TheOrangeGuy in the later game, should there be a CV coming in for Charlie. And I just realized there's so much flank defense here. And very little from TheOrangeGuy. But oh boy, set of force in mid. Tides have really turned, and losing this turn would be very big, because if there's spikes in here as opposed in there, that is very dangerous. Especially the big thing with spikes against Zero Core is they can one-shot Leclerc to the side. Leclerc is a super heavy, if you want to call it super heavy, which I would, with the lowest side armor of 7, which means you get one-shot by 21 heat. 21 AP heat, which is coincidentally exactly the AP value of spikes. So that is very, very dangerous. Most other super heavies have 9 armor or upwards, with a Leopard 2A5 with 9, a Challenger 2 with 11, with the highest side armor of any super heavy. The only unit that has more side armor is the Chimera with 12. Commandos powder killing both KTs, I assume. Yep, that the Yakari came in. However, I don't think it will be able to finish off the Yakari because, in my experience, they tend to run out of MG ammo. Plus, charioteers are coming, mortars coming, but the Leopard 2-1 is intercepting those charioteers. Meanwhile, Orange Guy is still slowly but surely pushing mid, and there's nothing really stopping him. There is a Leclerc here now, but again, unsupported. So with good micro from the Orange Guy, he can really abuse the fact that there's no support for that Leclerc. And at that long range, you definitely prefer having the 23 AP and low rate of fire compared to the 22 AP and 12 RPM. Then again, the mod does have 21 front armor as opposed to 22 of many other super heavies. So in this scenario, maybe actually I'm wrong. There's a KWS engaging the Syria, very nice. The OSAs are stopping and that KWS is just not getting... Okay, never mind, it's dead. I was gonna say it's just not getting hit today, but now it is. Not a trade that you obviously want. Or honestly, I don't even know. I was gonna say I don't even know who this was more beneficial. On the one hand, it means that Leclerc can operate more safely, but on the other hand, it also means that, you know, the next planes or something could operate more safely, especially the Hawks that Orange Guy was also even effectively starting with. E290 finally killing the Gazelle cannon with like this. It might have even been the third missile. Peace run coming in, but oh no, no, no. Yep, immediately getting shut down by those OSAs. Very brave. Basically was guaranteed to be a one-way ticket given that there were already two OSAs and an E290. So best he probably could have hoped it was a trade with the E290 or the mod, but I do believe he did not have line of sight on the mod. I'm pretty sure he wanted to snipe the E290. Leclerc though is again not getting repaired, so he should move up. Honestly, just move up the Leclerc to this, because once the smoke fades, you have little cover to work with. And the smoke is slowly but surely fading. And again, being on low HP, you don't want to get bumfucked by the mod again. And he's finally moving up. The Roland, of course, also spotted by the Yakari. So this is very annoying if you lose this town, because that gives the enemy so much time of sight up here. And must have been a miss micro. I don't know why these Yakari are being told to move out. He definitely should have tried to keep those in, although, yeah, I guess he wants those Panzer Yakari to move in. Syria came in and killed the Leopard 2A1. But that is not really giving him too much back. I mean, sure, it's a good trade, or not even trade because the Syria is still alive, but he's not regaining control because at the moment he can't really make good use out of killing the little 2A1, but, you know, obviously, killing the 2A1 without losing your plane, always a good deal. Especially since he knows there is a Leclerc, so he has a good chances to make more use out of the Syria, but it doesn't give him any immediate extra control. Trading some HP for a peace shrine, honestly a good deal, at least in the current position, because he's 25 points behind, but with 18 minutes left, nearly half of the game, not a big deal. So if for Orange Guy, I'm pretty sure he definitely gladly takes that trade. Leclerc still low, but the mod is as well. And there's also a 2A1. However, again, with no optics and no support outside of maybe those MX and P for now. Dangerous. Dangerous. On the other hand, Orange Guy doesn't have too much left here in this forest either. Lost his BMP-1s, lost a lot of his infantry, and many of all these units are not in good condition. Panzer Yakari are low in HP, KT has no ammo, Mod is also low in HP. Yakari are slowly but surely getting killed. He definitely should consider getting a supply truck for these 1 HP, 2 HP and 1 HP infantry squads here. Definitely worth repairing. T-72 CV coming in, I like to see it. Basically guarantees that rookies or cookies can't just snipe it with a LRM. I'm actually surprised that these Commandos Powder are still alive. All he needs really is even just one Yakari squad in a KT, with a KT somewhere in there and then moving up the Yakari. And he can always just smoke off the Milan. There's a Tiger coming in, and the E290 is finally getting resupplied. So it gets one missile, just one missile. I'd also really like to see some additional air recoils, but I have the feeling that Orange Guy probably also wants a lot of stuff, but just doesn't have the points. He wants to get back in here. He wants to repair and resupply all these units, and he probably maybe also wants to go there, but I think he currently needs points. Basically, yeah, he buys a Jurgen this close to Foxtrot. Well, this is interesting. I mean, I can understand wanting to use a Jurgen in minimum range, but I'm pretty sure even this might be out of minimum range, so I'm not sure what that was. Hello? What? Okay, I'm. This must have been a miss micro. Like buying the Rag 91 and then accidentally buying it from this spawn, and for some reason, I don't know what's going on here. The mod again still very low. When your super heavy is this low, you definitely want to prioritize repairing over refilling ammo and fuel. Must have forgotten it on this supply truck. Move back your AA as well. Sure, if your opponent spots that you're moving back your AA, it might give him the notification that you're being, that might make him realize that you don't have a lot of stuff left there. But you gotta decide whether it's worth gambling that you lose basically everything once he decides to attack, or whether you're allowing him to give that information but keeping your AA alive. And the E290, unlucky, misses the Tiger. Could have also lost line of sight in the last second because the Tiger was on the move. I didn't fully pay attention. The E290 moving over the open. Oh, and the Leclerc missing, and the Leopard also missing. Oh, that's unfortunate. And the mod will get killed by the Tiger. No smoke here, or too late smoke. You're again still standing there. Osa's killed the Tiger while getting one kill, while one of them dying, but it's again gladly a take you to take, a trade you to take. Eriko's got uncovered here. There's a supply truck coming in for the infantry, very nice. Also some squads here. I assume he wanted to guarantee them being spawned from this spawn as opposed to that one, but then probably just forgot he bought them and had to move them up. Leclerc without smoke, got hit once, MiG-29s, one of them dying. I think those were 2 MiG-29s, right? Also that it was indeed a MiG-29. Yep. Having bought 2 MiG-29s out of nothing. I'm pretty sure we haven't seen those before, so I guess that's where the points went. I'm pretty sure he didn't have them before, right? Because if he bought them now, that was definitely a misbuy, because the KWS died, 2 of the peace runs died, so there was no immediate danger or immediate need for having ASFs. I mean, sure, he clearly wanted to escort them, but as of that, up until that moment, Rookies Are Cookies doesn't have an ASF or a plane that he needs to kill with them. So that, in my opinion, was a clear misbuy. And it would have been much better to invest more infantry here and some spikes there and points into getting this back. More supply trucks to keep the mod alive, and of course the Rug 91 should not have been there in the first place. Must have been a miss, Michael, but very unfortunate. Slowly but surely also pushing up here, but once again the tides have turned. Leclerc again on very low HP, but there's still a 2-1 that is full, and with some optics that are coming here, the T-55 shouldn't be a big issue. And outside of that, and there's 3 HP Panzer, the Aircraft 90 squad, there's nothing much holding the Orange Guy back in here. But Orange Guy is ticking and is leading. Milan F3 firing them at a P on PSV and hitting, one-shotting it in the process. Very good. The smoke nearly worked against him, hilariously enough. No, the Milan 3 would have still had line of sight. So the Milan 3 being surprisingly accurate. There's the other P on PSV shooting at... Oh, and again getting... Wow, those Milan 3s, man. They've been accurate as fuck this game. I'm pretty sure this one also killed 2 BMP-1s earlier. I'd say Yakari got spotted because they were out in the open due to the fire here, I'm pretty sure. And Orange Guy never noticed that. That's unfortunate, and it's basically last thing holding him here. I guess the T-72 can still fight back, but that and the spike. Now there's finally the KT, but the KT is with Yakari probably. But honestly, just too little too late. Then again, you have to keep in mind he still has 1 MiG-29, which doesn't give him any immediate power unless Rookies Are Cookies decides to buy a plane. But he also still has the sea area, right? So that is still a threat that is up in the air, quite literally. And there's a third Leclerc being bought by Rookies Are Cookies. So even if he kills one with the Syria, there's still one left to go. Plus, there's of course still the 2-1. And these infantry squads have been holding on for such a long time here, but they're finally getting pushed out by those KTs. Plus the P on PSV. 18%. That tank really has a horrible stabilizer. But those base Panzergrens will take quite a bit to kill that P on PSV. They will need 3 shots. Which is a bit unlikely given the fact that there's also Yakari coming behind, and they're also one of them is on 1 HP, the other one on H8. Then again, if OrangeGuy doesn't pay attention or doesn't micro properly, if Rookies Are Cookies engages with those 8 HP ones first, then it could actually be possible. The LRM coming in, killing one of the KTs, panicking basically everything that's here. Little does he know, it's actually kind of wasted. He doesn't really need to do that at all. But of course, again, how would he know if he doesn't spot it? Hot's coming in, shooting at a T-72 Copa. It will need 3 shots though. No, 2 shots are actually enough, never mind. I thought it had 21 AP for a second there. Just enough AP to double tap that T-72. Very lucky, well not lucky I would say, but fortunate for him that it has exactly that armor. Gazelle Hot, by the way, pretty underrated unit, it's actually very strong. Even if you have the Recon Tiger in the game, if you can fit it in, definitely worth doing. Now that Claire is pushing up, I don't see a Syria coming in. I do see a CV coming in though. From both players even. And with only 10 minutes left and a 70-point lead, and at least a couple of 1 or 2 more minutes for the TheOrangeGuy taking a +1, unless he doesn't unload and move it in properly. It's gonna be tough for Rookies or Cookies to catch up, but far from impossible either. 70 points, that's 5 minutes of +1, roughly speaking. So far from impossible to come back to. Ever 2-1 track transaction hit probably got shot to the side by a KT, if I had to guess. Because the Yakari 90 here didn't shoot. The P on PSV definitely didn't shoot it either, would have dealt more damage. And there's the 2 Leclercs. Again, 2 Leclercs, 3 heavy tanks. And they're not doing anything. I mean, generally, yes, you don't want to push up with unsupported infantry. Syria will just one-shot that 2-1 here. And Seed coming in as well, killing the Roland. Syria gets out alive again, but damaged. But again, yes, you generally don't want to attack with your tanks, especially super heavies unsupported. But when you have 2 Leclercs and you just LRM'd, you can take the risk, or you should maybe even take the risk, especially since you're behind on conquest points and you're not ticking yet. CV is being moved in, but the P4 is pretty close here as well. And it should also be noted that Rookies Are Cookies doesn't have that much here either. A bit of luck with the KT unit P on PSV and the MS-17 here, and those additional KTs, and he could probably at least force the CV out of Charlie. LRM striking again. I mean, sure, on the one hand he doesn't really need to push him out because he's not ticking yet, but at the same time you don't want to give him the opportunity to reinforce this with some Panther Yakari or something along those lines, that even though they have points wise that's a lot less value than your 2 Leclercs, can still very much be quite a threat to those. And let's not forget, there is the Spike squad here that one-shots Leclerc to the side. Rag 91, it still hasn't fired this entire game, has it? That is so unfortunate for TheOrangeGuy that he forgot that. That is really, really unfortunate, and a lot of lost value here. Same with the fob. He bought the fob, but now doesn't make use of it. Took a while for Rookies Are Cookies to buy the LRM too, but at least he did buy it eventually. What got killed here? Something by the Spike. Yep, some reinforcing infantry. Just Martyr 1 with more Panzergrens most likely. And again, the entire assault with those 2 Leclercs being halted just by some charioteers and some infantry and a P on PSV, only because they're killing the infantry. And unless Rookies Are Cookies finally decides to push up here, the mod will be able to get into here freely. And sure, while it's 2 super heavies with 1 with the Spike support, even though it's out of ammo, could still be quite a threat to those 2 Leclercs. IDS will not be on target. Kill the armor 17, which is nice, I guess, but yeah, it just doesn't have the AoE to reliably kill CVs unless you're right on target. Then again, there wouldn't be any bomber that would kill the CV. Outside of a Kurnus, where the second LGB rolls a miss so much that it lands here. Still though. Echo CV also being bought, but they're all Jeep CVs. So some lucky Jurgen strikes with on those fairly obvious positions. Not the most obvious ones. I think the most obvious ones would be in this part and this part. I think those are the obvious positions for either spawn. But still, just one lucky Jurgen rocket and those CVs are dead. Again, a T-72 tank CV. That is gonna stay there with the mod, because again, those Leclercs, I mean, again, he can't fully know what is in here. But I feel like he's also just been way too passive and not probing enough, not being aggressive enough at times. But it seems like he's finally pushing up, at least with those Panzergrens. 90, oh, the hot. I was like, what the hell is 90 aiming at? But of course it is the hot. But finally he's gonna get in there with those Panzergrens, most likely. And then he will finally realize that this is fucking clear, and then he can finally move up his Leclercs and shoot at the reinforcements down here. Meanwhile, however, this is getting flushed out, and there's only those two MX-10 RCs that is, you know, stopping anything from getting into Charlie. IDS getting out alive, and killing that AA. Rom getting killed by the Milan, and the mod being forced to push back up. Now this is interesting. Where's the T-72 CV going to be? With those Yakari and the PSV and the KT, he could definitely put it down here and get rid of the Legion 90. Plus, outside of the Legion 90, there's nothing really protecting the Echo CV. Again, just like Rookies Are Cookies didn't really know what is in here, but definitely could have known if he had been more aggressive. The same goes down here with TheOrangeGuy. TheOrangeGuy has the BMP-1 KT here, he has the Yakari here, but he never even probed by the looks of it. Yes, he finally pushed up the KT at some point, but he never probed with those Yakari, never with those KTs. And if he would, then he would realize that this is empty. Of course, on the other hand, if Rookies Are Cookies spots those KTs early enough, then a Kasapi could probably protect his V, but you gotta try. Especially since Rookies Are Cookies is ticking at only 38 points behind as of now. And the T-72 again still sitting here. That could definitely, he should at least try to put it down here, but just having it sit there while, you know, it is more or less clear that he can't move it up into Delta is just wasted. It's wasted points. Unless he wants to move it into this position, but that is just way too dangerous. But the more time, finally, oh, he did use Jurgen before, I suppose. Hold up, where did he use it? Because so Jurgen is reloading. Oh, he used it in there, I assume. Didn't try to CV snap by the looks of it. Still getting very little value out of the Jurgen. And finally, the Leclercs are in a position where I said they should be shooting at the reinforcements here, getting rid of the mod. The TV also died, and this is looking very bad. 3.5 minutes left. That is about 55-ish points at a +1 for Rookies Are Cookies. Syria getting one missile off and then losing line of sight. Peace Ryan trying to hunt it down. Not being able to kill it. MiG-29 gets one kill. It gets shot out in return because the Vulcan is just OP. Infantry CV in a helicopter coming in for Charlie, I assume. Which it certainly will be able to land there unless there's a plane or so coming in. But I'm pretty sure that it's going to be too late, especially since that P4 is coming to Delta. It's still gonna be... I think it depends on the Drag 91, and the Drag 91 earlier got probably... Oh, he's going for the town. This must have been, you know, we saw the Drag 91 reloading, so this must have been still the old order that it got when I assume he thought that he could push back into Delta. But yeah, he definitely should have tried to go for a CV snipe. And the CV being unloaded way too early, it's not gonna get into Charlie in time if it just walks there. Should have tried to get the gamble and literally unload it into Charlie and fly in there, because this is just too slow. And now he's pushing up and realizing, oh, this is empty. could have put my T72 CV there. I mean, of course, you never really know what's going on there from a caster's perspective. You're often thinking, what? There was nothing there I could have pushed. Even if you look at your own replays, but that's obvious. But it's also the lack of probing, the lack of recon, the lack of trying to see if something is there. That was the root of those problems. And that goes for both players. It was a close win, a very close win. But this goes to shows why they're not, why they're the type of players in this tournament. They're not like tryhards like me. They're not people who spend way too much time on this stupid game. They're just, playing here and there every now and then. And it shows. And it's not meant as an insult by any means, right? But it's just some of those things. While they know about smoke micro, they know about super heavies, they know roughly how to build decks, but that just isn't enough, right? That's the difference between someone who spends way too much time on this game like me, who knows roughly or knows when to push, when to probe, and how to read where the opponent has the main forces, how much he roughly has it, how to estimate these kinds of things, right? And that's just not something you learn within like 1 week. It just takes experience. So yeah, but it was a very close game. A lot of back and forth. Well done. Honestly, well done to both players still. They're clearly very closely matched. In the end, it was Rookies or Cookies who took the win. Thanks to... I think it was unit preservation, really. Which is kind of ironic given the fact how he lost to the first Leclerc. But I think unit preservation really helped him. Because I felt like even though again he lost to Leclerc pretty stupidly, I think he generally did a better job at keeping the supporting units alive. And most notably also reinforcing the supporting units. Because when Orange Guy got control of mid, he never reinforced it. Again, as a caster or watching the replay, you can't really see exactly where the points are spent because you don't see air units being bought, right? And only if you fully zoom out, you know what ground units are bought, which unfortunately I wasn't. But it just wasn't he was a bit over aggressive. He pushed up into the town, then moved some infantry out in the open, lost some infantry squads here and there, and never reinforced them. He never had a supporting units. He didn't have enough supply to fully resupply the mod, and then eventually just got ground down, right? The Leclerc took a couple of hits, but then got retreated and repaired. Took a couple of hits and retreated again, and eventually the mod never got fully repaired and then got killed by the Peace Rhine. It was a Tiger, right? And then the Jurgen, it was I don't know what it was. If he wanted to just buy it, and because he didn't have the time to zoom back to the spawn, he just bought it next to the front line, didn't realize it was bought from the second spawn, and suddenly it was there. Something like that. I don't know. But that Jurgen was, I think, a huge, huge misbuy. Not only was it 120 points basically wasted for a long time, if the Jurgen would have been bought at the spawn, or at least put to a halt right when it spawned at the second spawn, it could have also just completely halted any enemy assault, at least for a time, and given him additional time to then finally repair and resupply and reinforce. In any case, hope you enjoyed the cast. Hope you learned something. I'm glad to see again. There's some things that I'm glad to see, such as no Jeep CVs being used in your bases and stuff like that. More tank CVs, and because and I have done that in the past myself. But a lot of people just keep using Jeep CVs, right? And then get angry when they're losing the game because of CV snaps, right? Of course, a tank CV gets sniped by a Peace Rhine just as easily as a Jeep CV, but by HE artillery, etc., it survived it a lot more. But yeah, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll hopefully see you next time.